Hey there, my name is Suman and welcome to Purple Pie Studios. So this is the lesson 13 of the Corporate Explainer animation course, and in this lesson we will learn how to animate hands that we have rigged in the last lesson. So in case you want to first learn how to rig hands, then go check out the previous lesson as well. And in case you want to check out all the previous lessons of this course, you can check it out from the playlist link that is provided in the description, where you will get all the lessons that we have covered till now in this course. And you can get all the files, assets, and illustrations that we are using throughout this course from our website that is also linked in the description and also in the pinned comment section. So that being said, without any further delay, let's dive right into Adobe After Effects and let's get started with the project setup for animation. Okay, we are in After Effects and we will continue from where we have left in lesson 12. So in last lesson we have rigged this hand and we are not directly going to jump into the animation process. First we will just decide the timing of the hand animation, and for that we have to check the animation of the cursor. So inside the web UI we have this cursor animation. So here we have the very first click. So let's add a marker on the hand composition. So for that you can select the layer and press the asterisk key and double click on it to open the comments, and here we can add a comment for the marker. Let's give click 1. Now press OK. After that, here we have the second click animation starting from here. So let's add another marker and double click on it, paste it, and I will just change it to click 2. Now in between we have mouse hovering animation. So for the hovering animation, I noticed one thing is the animation, there is not much gap between the hovering animation and the next click. So there would be not much time to animate the hand. So I think we can speed up the whole hovering animation a little bit by a few frames. So let's select all these keyframes, press and hold the Alt key and compress it like this. So here this animation ending. So let's add a marker over here, and from here it's starting. So let's add one marker over here. After that, after the second click, the mouse will again hover from this side of the UI to the other side of the UI, but we are not going to animate the hand for that hovering. We are immediately going to start animating the typing animation for this checklist animation. So let's start the typing animation from somewhere around here, and let's add a marker, and let's end the typing animation like somewhere around here, maybe around 9 seconds. All right. So here we will end the typing animation. So now we have the entire timing of the animation that we would need for the hand animation. So now let's move on with animating the first click. So the first click is starting from here. Now let's get inside the composition and let's add a keyframe on the forearm layer, on the rotation property, on the position property, and also a keyframe on the rotation property of the hand, and the position property keyframe on all the fingers. Okay, we would need to preview both the composition at the same time. So for that, we can lock the composition here, double click on it to open it in a separate composition window, and let's dock it over here. So let's zoom into the timeline and let's move like 15 frames backward. Let's add keyframes over here. So let's rotate the forearm in the opposite direction. Okay, so we have not parented the hand with the forearm, and that is why forearm is moving on its own. So simply parent hand with the forearm. Now let's rotate it, and also let's rotate the hand in the opposite direction as well. Let's rotate the forearm even more. Now let's select the finger one and let's open it up like this. Let's select the other fingers and also move the fingers little bit and just spread it out, and also the thumb. So from here to here in this frame we would need to touch this touchpad for the click. So let's select the forearm and let's move the forearm such that it looks like it's tapping on that touchpad. And now we will rotate the hand and just select the finger and just fix the position a little bit. So after the tap, we will give like 2 frames of pause, and then we will add a little overshoot. So let's jump on to next 8 frames and let's rotate the hand by a few degree in the opposite direction by around 3 degree. And also let's select this finger and let's move it in the opposite direction a little bit, very little, maybe the thumb as well. And then from here let's jump on to next 3 frame or 4 frame and rotate the hand by 1 frame in the opposite direction of this keyframe. So easy is the keyframe now, and let's check out the animation. Okay, one more thing. We have to move on to the motion graph editor and just decrease the ease at the end over here, and also let's pull the bezier handle. So here we will have a match cut, so we are going to cut it somewhere around the peak, around this point, so that it looks like the hand is striking the ground. That is why we are decreasing the ease at this particular point. Now let's move on with mouse hovering animation with the hand. Now let's animate the hand for the mouse hovering animation. So the mouse hovering animation starts from somewhere around here. So let's move on to the hand composition and let's add a keyframe on finger 1 position property and also on the rotation property of the hand. Also from this frame, let's move backward by 5 frames and let's start the animation from here. So let's add a keyframe and here we will touch the keypad. So we will just rotate it in the opposite direction, and maybe let's add a keyframe on the thumb as well so that it doesn't look the thumb is just moving with the hand. Now from here, let's move on to the next marker and let's add about 1 degree of rotation on the hand layer, and also let's animate the finger layer as well. Maybe a little movement on the thumb layer to make the hand animation look a bit dynamic. Let's check it out. Let's check it out from this frame now. So the scroll animation is starting from somewhere around here. Let's move on to the hand composition and let's add keyframe on the thumb layer, also on the rotation property of the hand layer and position and rotation property of the forearm layer, and also on the position property of the finger 1 layer. So from here let's move backward by 5 frames and let's add keyframes on these layers. So in this frame, we will just make the hand touch the touchpad of the laptop. So let's rotate the hand by 1 degree and also forearm by 0.5 degree. And let's move the finger, also the thumb a little bit. And from here, the cursor is animating till this point. So let's move the playhead over here and let's add keyframes on these properties. And now we will just rotate it further, the forearm, even the hand, then the finger, and also the thumb. A little movement on the position property of the forearm as well. And now let's animate the click number 2. So let's move back to the main composition of frame 3. So here the click 2 is starting. So now here we will add a keyframe on the position property of finger layer. So from here, let's jump on to previous 5 frames and let's add a keyframe. Let's add keyframe on all these properties and also a keyframe over here as well. So here we will just rotate the hand in the opposite direction and just spread out this finger for the click anticipation. Maybe a little movement on the thumb as well. So here we will have the click. So let's change the position of the finger a little bit. So after the click, we will have a few frames of pause, precisely 2 frames. And then from here, let's jump on to next 6 frames and move the finger up in a neutral pose. A little rotation on the hand and also on the forearm. So from here, let's jump on to next around 3 frame and let's add a very little overshoot. So here we will rotate the hand in the opposite direction by around 0.5 degree or 0.4 degree. Maybe I would so I would subtract by about minus 0.4. Okay, now let's check out the animation from the laptop screen. So this one looks good to me. So let's move on with animating the hand typing animation. So the typing animation will start from here. Let's move back to the hand composition and let's add keyframes on all the properties. So now from here, let's move backward by 15 frames and add keyframes. And from here, let's move to such a position from where we can start the typing animation. So first we will lift the hand. We will anticipate the typing animation first. So let's rotate it in the opposite direction by minus 2 degree and rotate the hand by minus 1 degree. Okay, let's expand the work area. Now we will only animate the finger one first, and then we can simply copy and paste the keyframes and reposition the keyframes. So we will animate the finger one and also the thumb. So let's move the finger one and also let's spread out the thumb as well. And from here, let's jump on to next 6 frames and let's get to the typing pose. So we are just moving the forearm with the position and the rotation property, then slightly rotating the hand layer and also finger one. So from here, let's jump on to next 5 frames and move the finger one up a little bit. So here we are just animating the type. That's it. And then again, let's jump on to next 5 frames and copy and paste this keyframe. So here we have completed one type or one tap on the keyboard. Let's copy and paste these 3 set of keyframes. Here we have 2 type or 2 taps. Let's copy and paste these keyframes few more times. Now let's add the marker on this composition so that we can properly keep track of that time. Now let's check out how it looks over here. So after a few taps, we will move the hand in the different location as well so that it doesn't look too static. So let's add a keyframe on the position property and also on the rotation property and also on the rotation property of the hand. From here, let's jump on to next 6 frames and move the forearm to a different location. I mean, a very little, not too much. Maybe we will rotate it and also a little rotation on the hand layer. I'm just adding some variation in the typing. That's it. Okay, we can do this animation by a few frames earlier, so we can delete this tab and let's move the keyframes around here. So now we can copy and paste these 6 keyframes here, and then we can again copy and paste these 2 set of keyframes again, just a little movement, just to add a little movement in the hand. That's it. And this time we can even change the location a little bit and just copy and paste these keyframes. That's it. And maybe add another tab over here. All right, let's check out the animation. Okay, so we can now copy these keyframes from the finger one layer. Let's delete these 3 set of keyframes. Just copy these keyframes. Control C copy, select these 3 controllers, Control V paste. Of course, it would look too weird. what we have to do is just move the position. That's it. Just change the position to its original location. That is it. But remember, when you are changing the position with keyframes, you have to make sure that all the keyframes are selected, then change the position. Then only all the properties or all the keyframes position values are going to change together. Otherwise, it's going to end up adding a new keyframe. And now we will just offset the keyframes. But the start of the typing animation or for this anticipation, the keyframes are going to be at the same place. It's just that the typing animation, for the typing animation, the fingers keyframes are going to offset and be in a different frame in the timeline. So now let's check out the animation. Okay, so this one looks good. Now So now to animate the other hand, we don't really need to reanimate the whole process for the other hand. We can simply go here in the asset and find the composition of the left hand. So here is the left hand, and let's rename this our copy, and let's bring it here in the timeline, and let's turn off the visibility for a moment, and let's right click on it, transform, flip horizontally. Here we have the hand for the other side, but inside we have to of course delete the rest of the layers, like all these actions, like all the actions before the typing animation. So the typing animation is starting from somewhere around here, and let's delete all the keyframes with the actions before the typing animation. So let's select all these previous keyframes and just simply delete it. And of course, let's start the animation from here. Let's make the keyframes on the same line, and also let's copy and paste this keyframe and just fix the position, uh, and just fix the neutral pose of this hand a little bit. So let's rotate it in the opposite direction, maybe change the position of the forearm, and also for the hand we have to just make the neutral pose of this hand look good. That's it. And then we can select all these keyframes and start the typing animation by a few frames earlier for this hand. Let's check out the whole animation right now. Okay, now let's animate the final tab. So let's get inside the second hand or the right hand. And after the typing animation, so from somewhere around here, we will add keyframes and add a tab on the keyboard. So from here, let's jump on to next 12 frames. Let's rotate the forearm in the opposite direction by about, yeah, minus 18 degree. Then a slight rotation on the hand as well, and also slight movement on the finger. And then jump on to next 8 frames and rotate the forearm towards the keyboard, rotate the hand, and just change the position of the finger 1 controller, and keep a pause for 2 seconds. After that, let's jump on to next 8 frames and let's rotate the hand in the opposite direction a little bit, and also move the finger in the opposite direction, the finger 1 controller. And let's jump on to next 6 frames. So here we will add a little overshoot. So let's rotate the hand again by a 1 degree in the opposite direction, very little, and a slight movement in the finger in the opposite direction. So let's check out the whole animation from this main frame of the laptop, and we don't need the second screen right now, so just close it, and let's check out the animation. Okay, one more thing. I think we can just extend the hand movement from here to here, or maybe slow down the hand movement a bit so that this section of the hand doesn't look too dynamic. So let's get inside the composition and let's move the keyframe and place it over here, or maybe add a very little hand movement over here as well, very little, so that the overall thing doesn't look too static. So from here I'm just going to rotate it in the opposite direction, maybe the hand also a little bit in the opposite direction. I'm just making some movement on the hand so that the overall animation doesn't look too dynamic. That's it. Now let's check out the whole animation. Alright, so that was all for this video. In the next lesson, we will learn three different ways to transition from one scene to the other in explainer videos, or you can use this technique in any other animation projects or even motion design projects. So that is it. I will see you in the next one. Until then, goodbye.